Hi and welcome to Fun with Maths with me, Beejal. Today we're going to be doing some work on addition and subtraction, and our task at the end of it is going to be about a holiday in Hawaii. Have you been to Hawaii before? Look how beautiful it looks. Well, I wonder what our task is going to be. Let's get started. So the things that you're going to need for today's lesson: you'll need a pencil or a pen, a ruler, something to write on, and of course your brain. If you need to get any of those bits, pause the video now and come back when you're ready to get started. So let's have a look at what we will be covering today. We're going to start off by looking at some different strategies for addition. We'll then move on to looking at some strategies for subtraction. And finally, we'll have our holiday in Hawaii task to end with. So let's get started on addition. Now, there are many strategies that we can use when adding two numbers. We are not going to be able to cover all of them today, so I've just picked 4 topics that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at column addition, we'll look at rounding and adjusting, partitioning, and near doubles. So we'll get started with column addition. So one thing that's really important to remember in column addition is you need to make sure that your digits are in the correct column. So you can see here's my thousands column, my digits are lined up, my hundreds column, my tens column, and my ones column. So presentation is really important when you're doing column addition. Now some of you might be wondering why I've left this gap here. People do column addition in a few different ways. I find it useful to leave this gap in case I need to do any regrouping, and I'll show you how I use that space in just a little while. Now when we're doing column addition, do you know which column we need to start with when we're adding? Well done, we always start with our ones column over here. So my first one that I do is 6 plus 1, and I know 6 plus 1 is 7. I can then move on to my tens column to do 2 plus 2, which I know is 4. My hundreds column, I've got 5 plus 6, and I know 5 plus 6 is 11. So this is where I'd need to do a little bit of regrouping. So I put down my 1 over there, and my 10 gets carried to the next column. So that's where I use that space to put over any numbers that I need to regroup. I now know that I definitely won't forget about this number when I'm adding my thousands column. I've now got 3 plus 4 plus 1, and I know that 3 plus 4 plus 1 is 8. So my answer is 8,147. And now I want you to have a go at doing your own column addition calculation. So I've written out the number here, 2,362, add 5,152. So pause the video and come back when you're ready to go through the answer. Okay, let's see how you got on. So hopefully you remembered that you need to start in your ones column. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 6 plus 5 is 11. So I put down my 1 over there and I regroup the other one into the hundreds column. 3 plus 1 is 5. And 2 plus 5 is 7. So your answer should have been 7,514. How did you get on with that? Hopefully you managed to get that correct, because we're going to move on to our next strategy for addition, which is rounding and adjusting. So rounding and adjusting is really useful for using when one of our numbers is really close to a multiple of 10, a multiple of 100, or a multiple of 1,000. So you can see here I've got the number 2,998. And I can see straight away that this number is really close to the number 3,000. So I'm going to round it up to 3,000 for my calculation. So instead of doing 2,998, I'm going to do 3,000 plus 1,582. And I can do that really easily because I'm not adding any hundreds, tens, or ones. It's only my thousands digit which is changing. So I've got 3 thousands here, which I'm adding to my 1,000 here. So my thousands is now going to change to 4. And my hundreds, tens, and ones has not changed because I've not added any more. So I've got 4,582. But was I meant to add 3,000, add 1,582? No, I wasn't. I was meant to add 2,998. So I've actually added 2 more than I should have. I need to now give those 2 back. So from my answer, I need to take 2 away because I've added 2 extra than I should have. So I now need to take away my 2 from my answer. So you can see my answer has changed from 4,582 to 4,580. So I'll just say that what I've done again. I rounded 2,998 up to 3,000 to make my calculation easier, but when I did that, I added 2 more. Those 2 more should not have been in my calculation, so my last step I need to make sure I take away those 2, so my answer gets 2 smaller. Pause the video if you need to have a look at that again. If you're feeling good about it, I want you to have a go at the example in the next slide. I've got 3,997 add 3,726. Think about which of these 2 numbers is close to a multiple of 10, 100 or 1,000. Would you round it up or down, and by how much? Pause the video and have a go at completing that calculation. Okay, let's see how you got on. So the first thing I would have done is rounded my 3,997 up to 4,000, and I would have done the calculation 4,000 plus 3,726 equals 7,726. That's a really quick mental calculation to do. Now, if you have rounded 3,997 up to 4,000, my number has actually increased by 3 because I wasn't meant to add 4,000, I was meant to add this number here. So right now my answer has 3 extra. What do I need to do next? Well done, I need to give those 3 back. So my answer needs to get reduced by 3. So in my next step, I've reduced that from 26 down to 23. And I've got my answer. Did you manage to get that correct? I hope you did, because we're going to move on to our next strategy for addition. Our next strategy we're looking at is partitioning. Now partitioning is really simple. All it is we're splitting up a number into its hundreds, tens and ones in this case. Sometimes you might be partitioning into thousands as well, or sometimes it might just be tens and ones. And what we do in partitioning is we add each of these separately. So let's have a look at my example. I start off with my 3,572 and I add the 100 first. When I'm adding the 100, I know that my thousands digit does not always have to change. Sometimes it might change. In this case, it doesn't need to change. My tens and my ones will stay the same. It's only my hundreds digit which will be changing. So you can see I've got 5 hundreds here. I've added my 100 and I've now got 6 hundreds in my answer. So 3,572 plus 100 is 3,672. My next line starts with this number. So there's my current answer. My next line starts with this number and I add the next digit. My 2 here is in my tens column, so it's the same as 20. Because I'm adding 2 tens, only my tens digit needs to change. Now sometimes that might mean that your hundreds digit changes as well if you need to regroup. In this case, I don't need to do any regrouping because I know that 7 tens plus 2 tens is 9 tens. What do you think my next line needs to start with? Well done, my next line starts with 3,692. And lastly, I add my ones. So I add my ones digit, I look at my ones column, only my ones column is changing, and my answer is 3,693. So have a look at what we've done. When we've partitioned, I've split my number into the hundreds, tens, and ones, and done it in 3 different steps. It's important to remember that whatever answer I end up with, I start my next line with. Pause the video if you need to have a look at that again. When you're ready, move on to the next slide where I want you to have a go at doing your own addition using the partitioning strategy. Okay, let's see how you got on. So hopefully you partitioned your 316 and started off by adding your 300. So 4,624 plus 300 is 4,924. I then needed to make sure my next line started with 4,924 and I add my tens. I've got 1 10 and my answer should have been 4,934. My last line I would have added my ones and I've got 6 ones here. So 4,934 plus 6 is 4,940. I hope you got on okay with that. If you think you need a bit more practice, you can pause the video and join again when you're ready to move on to our last strategy, which is looking at near doubles. So let's have a look at my example. So here I've got 242 add 245. Now near doubles works when our numbers are almost the same. So you can see 242 and 245 are very close to each other. They're only 3 digits off. So I could do this as a near double calculation. So I could do 242 add 242 equals 484. So I've managed to do that mentally, but the question was not asking me to do 242 add 242. It was asking me to do 242 add 245. So I've not added enough. I need to add 3 more ones. Right now I've added 2 ones, but I was meant to add 5 ones. So from my answer, I now need to add 3 more ones. So in my last step, I'm going to do 484 plus 3 is 487. Pause the video if you need to have a look at that strategy again. If you're ready to move on, you can have a go at doing an example of your own. So on this slide, I've got the numbers 812 add 816. So you can see they're quite close together. Think about how we could use near doubles to work out an answer to this question. Okay, let's see how you got on. So in my first step, I did 812 plus 812. Now I did a bit of mental partitioning to work this out. I know 800 plus 800 is 1600. I know 12 plus 12 is 24. So 812 add 812 is 1624. But I wasn't meant to add 808, 812 and 812. I was meant to add 816. So I haven't added enough ones. I was meant to add 6 ones, but right now I've only added 2 ones. What do you think needs to happen to my answer? Well done. I need to add those 4 more ones to get my ones up to 6. And 1624 add 4 is 1628. Okay, so we've had a look at our addition strategies. Now, it's good to know that there are lots of different ways to work it out. Obviously, whichever ones you find the easiest to remember and the quickest for you to do, you can choose whichever ones you want. It's just handy to know that there are different ways to get to the answer. We're now going to move on to some strategies for subtraction, and we're just going to be looking at 3 subtraction strategies. We'll have a look at column subtraction, we'll have a look at counting up, and partitioning. Once we've learned all these skills, we'll be ready for our holiday in Hawaii task. Are you ready to do some subtracting? Let's start off with the column method. So you can see I've written out my question, 5,217, take away 3,682. Now you might have noticed here that I've not left a gap, and you'll see why when I'm doing my calculation. As with column addition, we have to start off in our ones column. So my first step is going to be doing 7 take away 2, and I know 7 take away 2 is 5. In my next column, I've got a 1 and an 8. Can I do 1 take away 8? I can't do 1 take away 8 because 1 is smaller than 8. This is when I need to do some regrouping. So what I need to do is I need to go over to my hundreds column and I need to regroup. So I'm going to break down one of my hundreds, and it's going to lend me over 10 groups of 10 because 100 is the same as 10 tens. So I've now got 11 tens in my tens column. I can do 11 take away 8, which is 3. This has now left me with a bit of a problem in my hundreds column because I've only got 100 and I need to take away 600s. So I need to regroup again. So I'm going to break down one of my thousands. So I'm now going to have 4 thousands. And that 1,000 is going to be broken down into 10 hundreds. So my 100 now becomes 11 hundreds. I'm now going to be doing 11 take away 6. And 11 take away 6 is 5. In my thousands column, I've got 4 thousands, take away 3 thousands, which is 1,000. So my answer is 1,535. Now it's really important, again, that our presentation is really neat when we're doing column subtraction. When we have to do quite a lot of regrouping, it can get quite squished, so we need to make sure our handwriting is small and neat. Are you ready to do an example of your own? Okay, so you need to do for me, please, 6,271, take away 3,416. Pause the video and have a go at working out that calculation. Okay, let's see how you got on. So in my ones column, I can already see I can't do 1 take away 6, so I'm going to have to do some regrouping. I've now got 11 ones. 11 take away 6 is 5. 6 take away 1 is 5. 2 take away 4 I can't do because 2 is smaller than 4, so I need to regroup. I can now do 12 hundreds take away 4 hundreds is 8 hundreds, and 5,000 take away 3,000 is 2,000. So hopefully you've got the answer 2,855. If you didn't get that answer correct, pause the video, have a go at doing a few more of your own column subtractions before moving on to the next slide. We're now going to have a look at my second subtraction strategy, which is the counting up method. Now, the counting up method works really well when the two numbers we're subtracting are quite close together. It is a very long strategy to use when our numbers are far apart. It would still work, but it might just take you a bit longer. So I would recommend you use it when the two numbers you've got are close together. So you can see my two numbers here. Both of them have 2,000s. Both of them have 900s. So they're quite close together. So let's have a look at how I would do this. The first thing I need to do, because I'm counting up, I need to start at my smaller number, and I'm going to count up towards the bigger number. So in my first step, I'm starting off with 2,934. And I always find the easiest step to do is get to my next multiple of 10. So I look at my ones digit, I've got 4 ones. This is where my number bonds come in handy. 4 plus what equals 10? I know that 4 plus 6 equals 10. So 2,934 plus 6 will take me to the next tens number, which is 2,940. From 2,940, I just need to add up until 2,947. So I add 7 more to get those 7 ones. So you can see I've added 6 in my first step. I've added 7 in my next step. What do you think I need to do to get my answer? I need to add together my 6 and my 7. And I know 6 plus 7 is 13. Okay, so that is the counting up strategy. We're now going to look at my last subtraction strategy, which is partitioning. So we've already done this with addition, so it shouldn't be too tricky to do it with subtraction. So you can see here I've got 7,163, take away 4,121. Let's have a look at my example. I will start off by taking away my thousands first. So 7,163, take away 4,000. Only my thousands digit is changing because I'm only taking away 4 thousands, is 3,163. Like partitioning that we did with addition, my next line has to start with 3,163, and this time I'll take away my 100. Again, only my hundreds digit needs to change most of the time. In this case, it's just my hundreds digit changing. 3,163 take away 100 is 3,063. I then take away my tens. 3,063 take away 20 is 3,043. So you can see it's only my tens digit that has changed. And in my last step, I need to take away my ones. So I need to take away 3,043, take away 1, which is 3,042. So 7,163, take away 4,121 is 3,042. Are you ready to have your own turn? So on this slide, I want you to see if you can complete the subtraction using the partitioning strategy. You've got 4,729, take away 2,317. Pause the video and see if you can complete this calculation on your own. Okay, shall we see how you got on? Hopefully the first thing that you did was take away your 2,000. So 4,729 take away 2,000 is 2,729. So it's just my thousands digit that has changed. In my next step, we should have taken away the hundreds. So 2,729 take away 300 is 2,429. So again, just my hundreds digit has changed. I then need to take away my 10. I've got 1 10 in this number. So 2,429 take away 10. Only my tens digit should be changing. So it will be 2,419. And lastly, I need to take away my ones. And I've got 7 ones in this number. So 2,419 take away 7 is 2,412. So the answer you should have got is 2,412. How did you get on? Now, like I said, there are many different ways that we can do addition and subtraction. It's good to know all the different strategies, but at the end of the day, you need to use the ones that are most comfortable, that you find most accurate and the quickest for you to do. You can use those to do our challenge, and our challenge for today is a holiday in Hawaii. So it says you are going to be planning a holiday to Hawaii for 4 people for 5 nights on a budget of £3,250. Now it might sound like a lot of money, but I'm telling you that money adds up really quickly once you put in all your activities. So we can see the flights cost £470 per person. Remember, you have got 4 people. So you're going to have to start off by doing 470, add 470, add 470, add 470. You could, if you want to do that as an addition, or if you want to, you could do that as a subtraction and just do 470 times 4. Your accommodation, so where to stay, you've got a choice. You've got this amazing hotel here, but it is quite expensive. It's £120 per room, but you're only allowed 2 people per room. And remember, you have got 4 people coming on your trip with you, so you would need 2 rooms each night. So you need to work out how much of that budget that would take up. If you find that too expensive and you're not going to have any money to do some activities, you could stay in a budget hotel, which is £50 per room, again for 2 people per night. So you need to choose which accommodation you want. You've then got a few activities that you can choose from to go to while you're in Hawaii. You could do skydiving, £280 per person. You could visit this zoo, which is an entry of £20 per person. You could go jet skiing, which is £80 per person. Or you could go to a theme park, which is an entry of £35 per person. So you need to decide, do you really want to go for the luxury hotel and maybe have fewer activities to do, or are you happy to stay in a simpler hotel and do as many activities as possible? Remember, there are 4 people that are coming and you need accommodation for 5 nights. I hope you have fun planning your Hawaiian holiday, and if you'd like to share with me what you have planned for your trip, please do send it to me so I can see where you would go and what you would do. Thank you for joining in with Maths Today. Enjoy. Bye.